Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 3-for-1 Sky Fantasy Podcast from Fantasy Football Hub. As you look ahead to the penultimate game week of the season, game week 40. Welcome, Paul, and how was your Sky weekend?
Hi, Fergi. Yeah, distinctly average. I did captain Haaland and Palmer, which were the most popular. I know that some people went a bit left field, but those were the two most popular captains. Morris didn't quite pay off on Friday night, and I'm now without a captain tonight and no transfers left. So the weekend was average and it's probably going to be bad depending on the outcome tonight. I think like a Palace 3-0 win with an Elise hat-trick might save me.
But you're still the reigning champion for a couple of weeks, so you've got something. So
thanks. Yeah, you should have introduced me as such because that'll be the last time.
Exactly, I should have. Sorry, I do apologize. I just want to check if we are actually live because getting a couple of funny looking messages. Could someone in the chat just let us know if we are live, please? It looks like I am. But it's not showing on YouTube, I don't think. Could someone please just comment that we are actually live before we chat for 10 minutes and then we've got to go back all again. Is it showing on yours, Paul? Are you able to have a look?
I never have the chat open.
Oh, sorry, not the chat. If it's live. Oh, yes, it's live. Ian Parent says yes, it's live. Thank you, Ian. And Michael. Thanks all. It's showing a bit funny on mine. So anyway.
I don't even know how I would check if I was live or not. Like having the YouTube channel running on the site. Like
yeah, you could do.
I never ever open anything other than the Sky app. So
Red Miss Red said I've overtaken Paul, the reigning champ. Yes, it feels like does it feel like your season's kind of done now, Paul, I suppose? Have you got any glimmers of hope for a rise?
No, I felt my season was over about 3 months ago, in all honesty, but I came to terms with it very quickly. I thought I would, I don't know, at the start of the season, I thought I'd be more bothered or there'd be more focus on me, but I actually feel the opposite in a way. I'm like,
thing is, we said this last year, right? It's a once in a lifetime thing. Like winning the game, is so difficult. It's like the amount of things you need to go your way for one, and then the amount of luck you need to go your way is just to get that perfect storm. You know, as you say, you come to peace with it, and yeah, still a good season. Obviously not up to your usual standards, but pressure's off having won the game anyway. But your advice, mate, as usual, has been absolutely bang on all year. I've got a decision to make this evening.
Is it worth me running through who I think the best options are for bringing in an order for anyone that's maybe on the stream and got 11 minutes to make a decision?
That's a really, really good idea. Let's go with that.
Because so looking at, I actually think Palace's fixtures are better than what maybe I even anticipated coming into this game. So you've got Man United at home, Wolves away, who are looking leaky at the back, and then Villa at home, who don't travel particularly well either. On the last day of the season, we know that there's always goals on the last day of the season. My order of preference of players would be Mateta first, Eze second, Elise third, and then probably Onana fourth, and that's only based on fixture volume and his propensity to rack up saves bonus, rather than me thinking that Man United will ever keep a clean sheet again, because I don't think it will. So I would do them in that order. I know that you've got Solanke, and you and I were talking just before we came off here just now. For me, that'd be even with Van Heck in my team, I think it'd be a very easy move from Solanke to Mateta. If I was in your spot.
The only reason I'm a bit nervous. I'm probably going to do it. Obviously, 9 minutes to go until the deadline, but I don't have Bruno then for the final 3 games, and he's got really good ownership. But the fixtures are tough, even though a couple are at home. I think they are tough. You mentioned I'm not going to captain him either, because I've got, I think, on the one on the final Wednesday, there's new sort of Palmer and Isaac are probably better captaincy options. So I've got Van Heck. My plan this evening was to do someone to Bruno, but I think now looking at it, I think Solanke to Mateta looks pretty decent. It would be a 4-for-2, including the captaincy. I've got Mateta in FPL. I'm quite excited with it, because lot of people moved off him, obviously. A lot of people wildcarded him out. But that United defence, the way the Palace are playing, the United defence, the way United concede as well, I think he could do well. So I'm gonna push the button on that. He definitely started. I haven't checked actually. He is starting, is he, Mateta?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't check the full lineups, but I looked at the like highly owned players that would be for consideration, and they were both there. So yeah, Palace's team is Henderson, Klein, Anderson, Richards, Munoz, and Mitchell, Wharton, and Hughes. Wharton's some player. I know he's not a
Yeah, very
fantasy
good player.
prospect, but yeah, he's really good. Elise Eze and then Mateta. When the three of them play, there's always goals. Man United have got a really bad record at Sellers Park as well, which I hadn't realised until
Wow,
earlier
how
on.
much is it?
Um, Garnacho would be my fifth choice out of after Onana. I just think that again, even like the appearance points from now to the end, they've got. If you brought him in and captain him, and he was the only one that you could afford or formation allowed, if you already had three strikers and we're looking for someone there, bringing in Garnacho for essentially 5 games, then I think that would likely be my next choice.
A couple of specific questions we've had. Definitely, if you've got like 1 or 2 transfers left, does this look like probably one of, if not the best opportunity to maybe try to do something a bit different? Niall has messaged a big call between Pickford to Onana or get Bruno out and bring in Eze. Any specifics there?
I think I would do the latter.
Latter Bruno to Eze. Yeah, just I can't get excited with Onana. They just don't look like. I think all you're hoping for are save points, aren't you? That's it.
Yeah, Man United's fixtures are away to Crystal Palace, home to Arsenal, home to Newcastle, away to Brighton.
They concede in all of those, don't they?
Well, probably, yeah, I think so. I think that would be my preference. Then you get the 2 Everton games, and like, there's no guarantee if Bruno misses today. Like,
Yeah, you're right.
nobody knows how
Yeah,
bad his injury is. He might be out.
He must be reasonably. I say reasonably bad. I know they don't play obviously until next week, so it is a while off. But he just doesn't miss games, does he? He doesn't miss games, so he must have something to have him stopping from playing the game. He must have something. And he's even played with his leg in plaster or in a cast. What's it called? Brace on it. Do you remember that? That was quite funny.
Yeah.
Couple of comments in the chat. Windy says, good evening. 2 pods ago, 626. Now sitting at 219. Can I sneak onto the leaderboard? Took a 2-game punt on Bowen over Salah. He hit the wood 3 times. Fine margins. That is unlucky. Dave Hannigan is in. XZ Fernandez injured with 2 transfers left. Any advice? If you were to pick a midfielder,
Eze,
Fernandez. So you might.
And I'd pick him over Garnacho as well. I think just based on tonight's game, I think that the weight of the captaincy tonight outweighs the additional game for Man United in the run-in, for me anyway.
Yep. Sean is in. Says Eze captain. Big 97 says Michael for Garnacho. Not sure without Bruno they're going to be as kind of as potent going forward as they can be potentially. It's normally him who plays those long raking balls, doesn't he? Ian Parrin says, even though nothing worse than having a differential captaincy failure followed by a no-show. Absolutely. Ian, everything's been touching recently has turned to gold. Sounds like he's had a tough couple of days there. Michael Scott says, who's on Onana captaincy? And then there's a few more in. Daniel Stewart, good point. Don't trust Eze to start all 3 games. It's very...
They've got it's not like they've got midweek games though.
No, fair point. And David says Mateta seems to perform better with Eze playing. Wharton, a Rice-esque alternative for next season. Yeah, that Wharton's been a really good player. And Dave Baxter says Pickford has Sheffield United next. Yeah, it surely makes sense, I think, to hold on to Pickford personally with that. Just on Nana, he's just big. Even though they're quite streaky United, but with the defensive injuries they've got, they're going to have a ton of shots against them, aren't they? We will see. FPL Matty Winalot says gone for Mateta captain tonight. Yeah, I think there's a few of us there. So hopefully we've covered off. Paul's summary of advice is probably take Bruno out for either Mateta or Eze. Are you top 2 in that sort of order?
If I had Solanke and I had Bruno, I think I would lose Solanke before I lost Bruno.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just a number of fixtures, maybe, in it.
Yeah.
Fair point. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the final few games now. We are indeed closing in. This fixture ticker on FF Stuff is getting skinnier and skinnier. Excluding this evening's game, then, Paul, which we've just talked about. Can you see any opportunities for people to climb the leaderboard if they've got a few transfers left?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious hop on is the Man United game, because you get 3-for-1 over most teams on Sunday coming up as well. But for the reasons that we've just mentioned just now,
who'd you go for?
If Bruno comes back and you'd taken him out or hadn't owned him in the first place, then I think jumping on him would be good. If you do pick up an injury from any players, then maybe Garnacho would be the second choice there. And it'll be interesting to see how Højlund plays without Bruno as well. I'm not suggesting that Bruno doesn't pass the Højlund, and that's but like when you take out an influential player like that, the team sets up slightly different, and does that play to Højlund's strengths in that sense? So maybe he's someone to look out for as a complete left field differential with no form or anything, but you do get the extra fixtures in the running for that.
Yeah, we had Jackson, didn't we, on the thumb last week, and he's delivered. He's done well. Like, well done, who's brought him in. Even though his fixtures still are pretty decent, aren't they? Away to Forest, away to Brighton and Bournemouth. He's probably one still. I've no idea what his ownership is, but he's definitely one still. If you're flush with transfers, he could be decent punt as well. Newcastle's fixtures, as we know, are pretty good. I was quite surprised by how much of a rise I got, excuse the pun, on when Man City did well on the weekend. They had Haaland, Rodri and Foden. Haaland's ownership was, during the game, obviously I know it hadn't updated, but it was 57%. I'm not sure what it is now. I just got to go and have a little look, but I was quite surprised.
78.
How much is it?
78.
78.
But,
wow.
Yeah, I still thought that was low as well, but there was, and some people might not have captained them because they got like Saka was playing and Foden.
Yeah, you're right.
But what I thought, remember, was it last week or the week before? A lot of people were said that they had one transfer left and they already had Man City cover and were going to use use that last transfer for captaincy on. I don't think it was the Everton Luton game, but people were looking at the Aston Villa Liverpool game that's coming up and thinking that they would want Watkins in for that based on how bad Liverpool have been defensively. So Van Dijk's ownership's down to 52% as well. Not that I think people are missing out by not having them. They've only got the 2 games left.
Obviously, they needed the captaincy, aren't they? Monday the 13th. Salah, you knew he was going to do well against Spurs. It was kind of written in the stars. Spurs are just so bad, aren't they? We knew he was going to count. I wanted to hold on to him at all costs, but I'm glad I didn't do it at all costs because I wouldn't have got Haaland back, and that would have obviously been absolutely sort of devastating. But yeah, Rodri still at 11 pointer. He was on 13. He had tackles taken back off, I think, but 53%, which is decent, and Foden 69. So Man City's final 3 games are pretty good, and I'm quite excited actually. I think holding those 3 as a combination of 3 players should be quite good over the last few games there. Not too many opportunities. We touched on Crystal Palace. Spurs obviously now have got 2 very good games with Man City kind of sandwiched in there. Son's ownership has obviously increased now as well. Only 66, mind. Again, all these are quite low. I think that a lot of people have run out of transfers, haven't they? Really, so they can't make the moves they really want to kind of make. But home to Burnley on Saturday, away to Sheffield United. Is there anyone else from Spurs who could potentially interest you?
I don't think so. Not at this point. But Richarlison, it would be the other one if he. You don't know that he's going to start against Burnley, though. I assume he does, but
yeah. Cool. Yeah, not too much, but obviously there's only 2 games left now, and as I say, the template. There's not an awful lot of kind of wiggle room is there, but there's certainly a few players there who we've mentioned, who could potentially help you get to your, get up to your where you want to be in rank. Let's have a look at the game starting this Saturday then. Fulham Man City 12:30, and Wolves Palace. What's this? 3 p.m. games, fantastic. Wolves Palace, West Ham Luton, Tottenham Burnley, Newcastle Brighton, Everton Sheffield United, and Bournemouth Brentford. 6 p.m. games, amazing stuff. And then Forest and Chelsea at 5:30. Obviously, we get to see the City lineup, so it's a nice, easy one for those, especially who own probably Haaland and Foden. Just as an example, there's no nerves there to wait to see if anyone starts. Anyone outside of those interest you, Paul? If you were chasing now, would you be tempted to go a little different?
I'm contemplating this myself. I suspect in the mini leagues that I'm in, I'm a bit clear in a few, and I'm challenging on others, and I don't think that'll gamble the first places.
Yeah, makes sense.
By going completely left field. But if I was chasing, then Isaac, Callum, Callum Wilson,
legend. Legend. He should be up on the wall behind you. He should, mate.
Yeah. Callum Wilson could be a shout. I'm thinking of very lowly owned players. Everton at home at Sheffield United. You can't rely on Calvert-Lewin's fitness, otherwise he might have been a shout, and Bowen as well at home to Luton. But no, I think that the obvious one there is Haaland.
Sunday, Man United against Arsenal. Lots of people now will be hoping that Bruno doesn't make it. Those who've taken him out, and those who don't own. Saka captain, best.
Saka.
If you had Saka, yeah.
I had Saka at captain. I'm second, probably Havertz, and then your Arsenal defenders, I think.
Would you go for Saliba over Raya? Noticed Arsenal haven't been hitting the pattern recently, have they? As much as they had done.
Yeah, I just think the chance of the set piece goal or shots, I'd probably captain the centre half over the goal.
Yeah, cool. And then obviously Monday, Aston Villa against Liverpool. We've only got.
Interesting. Villa look dead on their feet, and then they're playing again on Thursday. I think I'd captain Salah over Watkins. I think if I held them both, or if I was bringing someone in, I think I'd. And I was flexible on budget, I'd probably bring in and captain Salah over doing Watkins, I think.
And it's funny how quickly things change. We say this all the time, don't we? Watkins was nailed on, a week ago? Nailed on captain, as you say. How quickly things change, form changes and whatever else. But yeah, must agree with you. I think Salah's the better option there. So yeah, I'm not. Let's just have a quick look at.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that we'd go into this run-in and not own Saka? And Arsenal have got a single game day, and then not own Watkins or Salah, and they've got a single game day against each other. Not owning those three, it is funny how seasons unfold with us.
And we've got Van Heck and all these players.
I could call it Morris.
I got Carlton Morris too. Did he start on Friday?
At least they're playing West Ham this weekend. So.
Did he start on Friday?
Yeah,
he did he? I saw Adebayo obviously got the goal. That was all.
Yeah, I played draft fantasy football, and I brought Adebayo in, so I was still cheering when he scored.
Salah's ownership only 30% now, so that could be a massive differential come Monday. I still think we're going to see some big swings. I noticed this weekend.
Yeah, I was speaking to a few people on DMs yesterday who are chasing some of the big leaderboard prizes. And they had asked me what my advice was, and I'd always give two lenses on it, on your risk appetite, and one being if you're playing a lot of cash leagues and you're 10th overall in the game, do you really want to be messing around, not going against Haaland and stuff like that? But person I was speaking to wasn't in any cash leagues and say he was doing well overall, and they asked me what my advice would be then, and it'd be get Salah, and his differential, his pedigree. Maybe he's out of form, but his pedigree. Imagine having Salah captaincy at home to Spurs as a differential. So yeah, obviously it would have came off nice. It was a 17-pointer, 34 double.
17-pointer, yeah, superb. Yeah, a lot were on. Who was the captain yesterday? Palmer and Palmer, Son, and
And
Watkins.
a few brought in Watkins and took a punt on him.
Lovely stuff. Going into the games, then we'll just look at these next week. We'll touch on them more on the pod next week. But Spurs Man City on Tuesday should be a bloodbath. There's this ridiculous record, isn't there, where Man City have lost all their games at Spurs' new stadium, and they haven't scored a goal. Surely that changes on Tuesday.
I thought it was part of the last game. Did they not win 1-0 the last time?
That was FA Cup. So this is in the league, but yeah, it was FA Cup. So surely that ends on Tuesday.
Do you remember Man City when Norwich got promoted a couple of seasons back, and Man City played them, and Norwich had all of the players out, and Norwich ended up beating them 3-2, and Kenny McLean scored a header from a corner, but people were putting on bets that it would be the record,
like 10-0 and stuff like that.
The record Premier League score.
3-2. I think at this stage of the season, I'd be. I mean, you never know with I would say you never know with Spurs, but I think at the moment, with Spurs that they're going to score a goal or two, but they're going to give up 3, 4, or 5. So I can just see this game being like 3-1 or 4-2 or something like that personally. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be going against Haaland, assuming he starts this one as well, which he very likely will. Wednesday the 15th, Brighton and Chelsea, United, Newcastle. I
think this one is. I think this game day is interesting. Like we talk about quite a lot about the even playing field captaincy days, and this is where your 50-50s or your decision making comes in, and where you can differentiate. I think Palmer's away form isn't from a fantasy returns perspective isn't great. Like most of his hauls are coming at Stamford Bridge.
Neither Newcastle's either. Their away form is not great either.
Yeah. So I think it's more open on this day than perhaps.
Yeah, I think it'd be split.
I've said before.
Yeah, interesting one. It could be one which
Bruno's back. Bruno's back. Like he offers a different. Like he offers what his ownership will be at that point in time. Offers differential as well.
It does. Be interesting. That could be the night which wins or loses. If either Palmer or Isaac gets a goal and assist and the other blanks, for example, that could win and lose mini leagues, couldn't it? That's how brutal this was your Thursday night last week with Man United and Chelsea. Do you remember the penultimate game day of the season when what was his name? João Felix went through and scored for consolation goal. We were like,
and Rashford's 1-2 with the.
That's
Kepa.
right. He got shots bonus for that, didn't he? That was right. You captain Rashford. Very unseen. I assume most have, but Paul only had Rashford left in his team.
No
transfers left, and Rashford was benched, wasn't he? Yeah. And your opposition player brought in
the guy in second,
had De Gea.
Had one transfer left and he had one transfer left and brought in De Gea with the transfer.
Brought in De Gea, and it was like 3-0 or whatever else, or 2-0. And then and United were good and Chelsea were poor. It's probably worth just for context as well. But Rashford came on, had a shot which was saved, and then scored the rebound for a goal and shots bonus. And like United were 4-0 up, absolutely cruising, and just João Felix scored this really random consolation goal, like the 80th minute, wasn't it? And I was in the pub, and I was jumping up and down, like, come on, like, and people could not there's no context, is there, where you'd be cheering that sort of goal, a consolation goal in 4-1. But yeah, brilliant stuff that was. So. Looking at transfers remaining now, we had an update on Friday. The top 5,000 average is still 3.2. You probably guess there's quite a few dead teams there, I would guess. But still kind of reasonably high. The top 1,000 was 2.2, top 100 2, and the top 10 1.5. Paul, you've already said you're out. I'm now out as well as of 15 minutes ago. There's still a few people in the chat and a few on Twitter and stuff who've got a few left. Hopefully we've given enough sort of options and stuff. But
one of the questions one of the questions that came in is, I have 7 left. How would you
I have
use
7
them?
left. 7 left. I think it was Colin Johnston. I think that might have been on Twitter. He said, I have 7 left. You can go for low. No, sorry, it's Billy Bright 7 left. How's it the most of them? If you could only... Oh, and then he asks a question for you at the end, Paul. But 7's an awful lot, in it. Wow, there's lots you can do there. Just hop along. To you can get your Salah, your Saka, and kind of whoever else.
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson. A double up with Wilson and Isaac. That'd be nice. Yeah, hopefully we've answered most of the questions. A question off Tim Barry's wife. With a maximum 8.2 million to spend after this evening's game, is Gallagher possibly the best available, or even Jackson? All single game days covered already. Maybe Richardson, Richarlison. I think Jackson personally. Who do you think?
I think Jackson. I think with Richarlison just coming back from injury, there's nothing to suggest that he'll start all the games. I think Jackson does. I think I'd prefer both of those over to Gallagher personally.
Yeah, same. Just more upside. Gallagher's, he gave you a bonus. I would say that watched him the other night. He was very attacking. He had lots of chances. Hit the bar from like a yard out or whatever it was. Well, didn't he? He might be interesting for next season.
Fun memories. I owned him when he was at Crystal Palace, and I owned him at West Brom as well the season before that, where he was getting tackle bonus quite a lot. And then obviously I got on him early this season. He did really well at Palace as well.
A goal for Palace, according to Sean in the chat. He's just put 1-0 Palace. Can't see anything yet. Unless I'm hoping that's just not like a prediction. hoping there has been a goal. Can't see anything yet. Let us know anyway.
Elise. I said it was going to be Elise hat-trick.
Elise. Swine. I was hoping it's in from a Mateta goal there would have been.
Well, that's good because a couple might go there and great for those that did. But the fact that I still think Onana's going to be the most popular captaincy tonight, so that works out in my favour selfishly.
Apparently, it's absolutely brilliant goal as well. Which Elise he's some player, and but yeah, apparently it's like a fantastic goal. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the. He's put Elise with one of the individual dribbles of the season. Sent Casemiro for an ice cream in the build-up with a dummy assist. Looks like it's Munoz. Thank you so much, FPL Spartans.
That'll be all right for Bobby.
FPL Bobby went for Munoz, didn't he? So yeah, he could be on for a.
I'm pretty happy with that outcome so far.
I bet you are, Mr. McNulty. Absolute swine. Think that's probably it for most of the questions. Colin said, should we have Salah and Saka as essential with the final few transfers left remaining games? Well, Colin's got some transfers left as well. I wouldn't say Saka, but I still think Salah's got just looks beyond form. But again, there's only a couple of games left in there.
You're gonna have the budget's a problem again. So are they essential to the point where you'd have to take out Haaland or Foden or something like that to get there? Because I wouldn't be considering things like that. So,
Ian Parrin. Sorry.
But I was just saying, I don't think they're essential. Are they good use of 2 transfers? If you're taking out players with less games for those, and you have the budget for it, then obviously, yeah.
Nathan asks, with 2 transfers left, is it best to save them for emergency or better to be aggressive? I would say, well, it depends on your game state. Obviously, if you're chasing, definitely be aggressive. If you're 50 points top, you can certainly just hold them back. But yeah, definitely game state. We've had a few questions for you, Paul. We did ask today on the tweet for some questions. Seeing this your final pod of the season, obviously.
I'll answer them all.
What's that?
I'm not doing it next week. I'll answer them all if you want.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'll rattle through them because this is Paul's final pod of the season. He's away on holiday next week. But yeah, let's have a look at a few of the questions you've had. A question off Billy Bright: if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? Starter, main, and dessert if you have time. I don't know if you can probably think of that right off the top of your head.
I like the. It's from Wagamama's.
I know what you're going to say, the calamari. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely amazing starter.
It's so good, and it's specifically from there as well because the dipping sauce.
I 100% agree.
It's my favorite starter, like of mainstream
Yeah.
places. I don't. It's weird because I don't know that I would eat it. Like, so I've got two favorite meals, like main meals. One is a special occasion. One, beef Wellington. Love beef Wellington, but very very seldom eat it. But chicken Kievs is my
Oh,
like
really? Is that
go-to.
your
If I'm
go-to?
like my like
Brilliant.
during the week meal,
I
like
love that.
if I could choose anything, chicken Kievs. I was going on holiday to Dubai, and completely random. So this has always been my favorite, like like everyday dinner. And and uh, mother half just put a message on Facebook or something saying, anyone got any recommendations when we were over there? And a guy that she went to school with messaged her saying, you need to go to this place. And I know it sounds random, but they do the best chicken Kiev in the world.
Wow.
And I was
That is
like, and
random.
Kiev's
That's brilliant.
this is really weird because because my partner like loves chicken Kievs, and we went had the boat like chicken bone in. It was the best chicken Kiev I've ever had. It was incredible. Like,
You brought
yeah,
me down, didn't you? It was I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a haggis and peppercorn sauce Kiev or pie. No, Dumpy
oh no,
pie.
yeah, yeah. So they do. Kilmarnock Football Club were really famous for it, the Killie Pie before, and they started lining it with haggis and pepper sauce in it. Yeah, they were really good. And then dessert, creme brulee is my
I'm a creme brulee fan as
favorite.
well, mate. Crack the top. Oof, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely superb. Okay, let's have a look if we've got any more questions. Barry Morrison, what's your favourite TV series?
Uh, Only Fools and Horses. And then the next two, Still Game and Quantum Leap. I loved Quantum Leap when I was younger.
Classic, mate. That what a
They
program that
rebooted
is.
it.
Oh,
Horrendous.
really? Oh, I can't.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's so bad.
Oh,
Yeah, Dr. Sam Beckett and
it was
Alan Ziggy.
Ziggy with his doo-doo,
Yeah,
all that jazz. I
yeah.
used to love that when I was a kid on like a Sunday or something. Um, I must say, just on favourite TV series, love all the like the comedy sort of classics. The Office is definitely up there for me and things like that. But
You're not mentioning Gavin, like the fact that you're from Barry and Gavin and
Gavin and
Stacey's
Stacey's being it's
doing one more episode.
they are you've got a photo outside Stacey's house, haven't you, from your visit?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Line of Duty, when it was at its absolute peak, was for me the most exciting, best series. Like right from the first minute of the program, I didn't actually realize. Right, I was watching a couple of episodes, and at the end of most episodes, there's like this jaw-dropping moment of like, and I was like, what's this we're watching? And it was like, I didn't realize. I watched about 4 or 5 episodes before realizing I was on season 4. Series, there was like 3, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I went back, and it was just right from the first minute of the first episode of the first series, Line of Duty just had me absolutely hooked. It was just a sensational program. And I would say, in terms of being hooked as well, and you may or may not be on board with this, but Traitors, especially the first
Oh, yeah.
series. Oh my
I'm a
goodness
big
me!
Traitors.
I basically cancelled our Christmas night evening because I was just like, I just want to go and watch the end of Traitors. I've got to watch it.
The first week's worth of episodes frustrate me as if people like know what people's game plans and stuff like that are at that point in time.
Yeah,
Like, no matter if you're backed into a corner, like human emotion's going to take over, and you're going to and most
absolutely.
people's going to act the same way, and people suggest that that makes you guilty. Like, annoys
Right.
me more than anything when
Yeah.
they start like just
It's fun. It's funny how they try and analyze everyone, but and sometimes they come to the right answer, but through the wrong conclusions as well. They'll say, "Oh, he was doing this, so that must make him this," and it turns out that they're right, but not right for the reasons they said. It's very rare that they're actually
and they know,
right for the reasons they said.
and think of the core thing. They're picking people that they know will be good on TV,
Exactly.
and therefore, like, people are quirky for that. Like, they're picking quirky people on that specific reason.
But just
Yeah.
imagine how nerve
I
wracking.
love the show.
Yeah.
I'm criticizing
No,
it, but I love
no.
the show. But
But
I
just
love the
imagine
show.
how nerve wracking it must be in that round table. You have
Yeah.
no idea who's lying to you and who's not. Like, even if you were like a
Especially if you can't
psychologist,
articulate
you'd struggle, wouldn't you?
or yeah, if you're an introvert and you can't articulate yourself particularly well in those situations, what can you do?
Exactly that. Just having a look to see if we had any more questions. We did. Sorry, it's working my way down. I don't know if you've got
There
any.
was one about where I would relocate to in the UK, I think,
Ah,
or
there
where
was,
we
yeah.
relocate to. So I like I like the southwest of England.
We've said this before, haven't we?
Yeah, I think I like Bristol
Bristol,
as
same.
Bristol as a city. I wouldn't want to be too far away from an airport. Like I like my travels and stuff. But I've been to Brighton once and I thought it was like somewhere down the coast, the bottom there.
Yeah.
I know I know it's not near like Bournemouth, back into like that area as well.
I think Bristol's just kind of got the best. It's got a bit of everything, and it's close to everywhere. You're not further than an hour away from London, the South Coast, South Wales, Midland. All right, if you go north or Scotland, for example, it's a bit further. But as you say, well, I got on a flight to you, didn't I, from Edinburgh, and it was £40 return. I was there in what was it, an hour? It's just crazy. Dave Hannigan asked that, and I think you got asked which Scottish university would you go to if you had a choice off Chris.
I went to Heriot Watt. But it really depends on some of them specialise in different things. Heriot Watt's good for engineering. St Andrews is, I guess, the more, I don't know, opulent one perhaps. And Edinburgh's if I wasn't a out of towner, I live in a village. I grew up in a village outside of Edinburgh, and therefore Heriot Watt was also easy for me to get to driving because I didn't have to drive into the centre of Edinburgh or get public transport. But if I was moving to Edinburgh, then Edinburgh Uni being central as well, is good and's got a really good reputation as well. So yeah, it depends what you're looking for, I think, and what you're studying.
Of course, good stuff. Well, that is it from us for this week. As usual, thank you so much for all those watching and listening. There wasn't much Sky chat really. Obviously, we're kind of right at the end of the season, so there's only so much. And with the average transfers being between 1 and 2, now there's not too much left. But hopefully, we help with your final dilemmas on this evening's game and potentially where to use them for next week. So yeah, thank you for watching and listening. Your continued support is much appreciated, and thank you so much, Paul. It's your final episode of the season. Thank you so much for a wonderful season as reigning champion, as the humblest champion who's ever lived. But where can people find you, Paul?
Yeah, on Twitter at Paul McAnulty 1 MCANULTY. And yeah, thanks to all the listeners over the season. I do try and reply to as many DMs as I can on Twitter. I am busy outside sometimes, but I appreciate all the listeners and everyone that interacts with us on the chats as well, because that makes it, doesn't it?
It does. It does indeed, and we'll be back next season for sure. My handle on Twitter is @Fergi. If you like what you watched, please press the like button. Remember to subscribe in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. If you enjoyed your listen, please rate the podcast and leave some comments. We'll be back next week with our final episode of the season to preview Sky Game Week 41, which will obviously include the midweek games for next week as well. In the meantime, we hope you have a great Game Week 40, and goodbye for now.